Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Now, that's more like it. Certainly it was great to see the Browns put up 40 points on the road in as important as a Game 4 can be, but it was just as great to see the injury-plagued defensive backfield play so well for the second week in a row, enough so that maybe they won't get their jobs back when they become healthy. And then there's the running game, led by Nick Chubb with 165 yards, including 88 on one play that essentially put the game away. Just wait till Kareem Hunt shows up in November. You'll watch tonight's Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game differently than you've watched it any time over the last 20 years. You know this time the Browns are better than both of them, and after yesterday, the Baltimore Ravens know where they stand also. Jeff Schudel is here. More sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Monday night, it's a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into its 24th consecutive year, and as seen always, exclusively on cleveland.com. Truth and Reason brought to you by the Ohio Lottery. Jeff Schudel is brought to us by, what, a Chevrolet? What brought you here tonight?
My Toyota Camry.
Your Toyota Camry got you here.
Yes,
Well, you're presented by them.
Yes, I might as well.
You got your own sponsor. Congratulations.
All right, I like it.
And the good news from your point of view and mine, now that I think about it, now that some of the construction is done on 271, this is an easy drive for you.
It's much easier than it has been, yes. I mean, I left early figuring I was going to get into that log jam.
That labyrinth.
But it wasn't there. I said, now what am I going to do?
Yeah, I made a wrong turn here.
So I got here half an hour early because of that.
All right. Well, we welcome you. Better than a half hour late, of course. All right, so tell me what the heck happened yesterday and what took 4 games for it to happen.
Well, I'll tell you what, Les, the difference between that game and especially the first game, it really was night and day.
Yeah.
And you know, even last week after the Rams game, when freddie-kitchens said, it's only one game,
right?
We're not panicking. That was his quote. And
well,
then,
correct me if I'm wrong. 4 games is really about game 1 of the season if you played exhibition games.
Right. And even Ozzie Newsome would say that you really don't know what your team is like until about now, because you don't play in Beckham and Landry and those guys and Nick Chubb in the preseason.
That's up to the owners. Get it right and do it right, and it's easy to do. It's switching the exhibition games around or taking them away. There's an easy way to do it.
You know what though? I mean, so what? The coaches are in a dilemma, right? I mean,
sure.
You don't want to get those guys. I mean, how mad would we be at freddie-kitchens if he gets Odell Beckham hurt playing the Redskins in August, right?
Yeah.
But then you say he needs that time.
Well, then the owner should say, okay, we're going to bite the bullet, not gouge the customers, and not have a 4th exhibition game. Right.
And I mean, it seems like there should be a solution. Now, so do you make it 17 games in a regular season? That's something they're talking about.
Look how many quarterbacks are hurt right now. This is 4 weeks of the season, and without jotting them down, just off the top of my head, I think there are 6 first-string quarterbacks who are either going to be out for the season or a considerable amount of time.
Right, and the Bears game came on right after the Browns game.
Right, Trubisky.
Right, and that was nasty looking.
Yeah.
And when he went down and his arm was at your arm doesn't work that way.
I heard the report today. They said no fracture. He'll probably miss 1 game, but he could be okay after that. How's that possible?
No, I don't see how he'll miss only 1 game. I mean, maybe I don't know if they have their bye in 2 weeks.
That's true.
But that injury to me looked like it could be out. But I'm no doctor, as Belichick would say.
Let's talk Browns here.
Mm-hmm.
The running game was phenomenal, right?
Sure was.
They didn't. Odell Beckham, at least statistically, wasn't involved at all. He was involved more as a decoy. I don't know if you think that decoy was on purpose, or you just think it developed that way.
Well, I think maybe part of both. I think they were really determined to get Landry involved in the offense, and that Ricky Seals-Jones, who you didn't really know much about. He really had 2 very important catches in that game.
Let me tell you something. 99% of the Browns fans says, who the heck is that guy?
Yeah. You're right. And so you got to give. Now, Freddie-Kitchens had him in Arizona, so he
Right.
knew something about him. And the way he played yesterday said to me that those weren't just 2 lucky catches.
No. He looked under
you could
control.
see he knew
Yeah.
what he was doing. So, and now they're getting Antonio Callaway back.
Right.
So,
But how about Jarvis Landry? He's going into the protocol.
right, and there's no way to project how long that might last. When you think about Demarius Randall, the safety, he showed up this Saturday before that Jets game, and all of a sudden was in the concussion protocol.
But he said he didn't have a concussion.
That was so weird, that interview, because we're talking to him on Friday this past week, and I said, because we didn't get to talk to him until he was cleared. So I said, Demarius, that's kind of weird that, 6 days after the game, you would have a concussion. And he goes, no comment. And it was like, what do you mean
Kiddingly or not kiddingly?
No, he was not kidding. So he indicated, my interpretation was he didn't think he had a concussion.
Right, but they told him he had one.
Yeah, and I don't know why the Browns would ever not want him to play the game. So it was kind of a really strange deal, I thought.
Well, I think it's a simple solution. I think if the medical team thought he had a concussion, there's no way you just say, no, he doesn't have one, even if the player doesn't think he had one.
Right. So, yeah, right. So you're right. And so what I'm saying is he might have thought he didn't have one. And so there's nothing really fishy about it.
Right.
So, I mean, the coaches would certainly play Demarius Randall if
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Jeff Schudel is here, covers just about everything there is to cover. Is there anything you haven't covered?
No, not I can think of. I've been doing high school football on Fridays,
Right.
which I really, really enjoy because that's how I started.
You're doing that now?
Yes. And like this Friday, I'll go to the Browns practice, and the game I'm covering is Euclid at Strongsville. So I go right from
that's 2 good teams.
Yeah, so I go right from the Browns to there. You're right. Euclid's 5-0, Strongsville's 4-1. Very good, Les.
Well, thank you.
And tomorrow I'll be at Monsters Media Day.
I follow Jeff Rotsky because I think he's the coach of Euclid.
That's right.
And I just think he's done such a phenomenal job. He's more than a coach. I don't want to get into that right now.
Yeah, you're right, though. Let's talk about him. Because,
okay, go ahead.
I mean, I really like him a lot.
You like him? He's not a teacher, so he makes real money and donates it. He helps the kids out, and he gets them into colleges. Most coaches can say that, but that's his number one priority.
And I'll tell you what, man, they have these jackets. They wear at Euclid. It says GFGF, and that stands for God, Family, Grades, Football.
Oh.
So it's interesting to me that football is at the end of those priorities to Rotsky, and he's.
Although you can change the letters around if you want.
Sure, you can, but that's what they told me. So, but I think he does a great job with those kids.
He's done it at Maple Heights. He's done it at Chanel. I think Chanel. He's done it at Cleveland Heights. He's done it at Euclid. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, and other guy, I like. He gets more emotional in these games than some coaches do.
Right.
And that just and that doesn't mean anything other than he does. I'm not saying one way is better than another.
No, I get it.
At all. But I mean, he really does.
Kudos to him. I think he does a tremendous job. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Bud Shaw joins us tomorrow. Dennis Maniloff will be here on Wednesday as we get ready. Another quirk in the schedule for us Cleveland Browns fans, getting ready for us. Ho hum, another one of those Sunday night, or what is it, a Monday night game?
Time, yeah.
Ho hum.
Yeah, how about that? It'll be, 3 out of 4 weeks, the Browns will be on prime time.
Right. And by the way, that win yesterday, and everybody says it was for first place in the conference, and I heard people say, "Well, no, it isn't. They're tied." No, you stay this way, and you get the edge over Baltimore or anybody else record-wise.
Yeah, they're one up head-to-head, obviously.
Correct.
And they're 1-0 in the division.
And you're going to play them at home later in the year when the advantage should be going your way.
I think that's game 15. So we'll see how things are by then.
Maybe they won't even need it by then.
Well, maybe not. But I had the Browns at 2-2 at this point of the year.
Okay.
They
the way it happened?
Not the way it happened.
No.
I had them beating the Titans and the Jets and losing to the Rams and the Ravens.
So essentially they'd be coming off a 2-game losing streak, which you don't want. Now they're coming off a high of beating Baltimore.
Right. And then I confess I had them losing to the 49ers.
Well, I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong. And then beating Seattle, and then
I hope you're right.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, this is going to be. I think it's going to be a pretty good game coming up.
Should be a lot of fun. Stat of the month from the Ohio Lottery. Did you know there's over $6.25 million paid out of the Ohio Lottery pick games every week? That amount of winnings. Stop by your local retailers. Try your luck with the Pick 3, Pick 4, or Pick 5 from the Ohio Lottery. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine, with new content posted each and every day. Jeff Schudel and I return in a moment. We're going to take a look or a listen to what some of the national pundits, I love that word, pundits, had to say about the Browns after this week. Stay tuned for that and more. More Sports and Less Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then, watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history. The Babe hits home run number 60. That record stood until Roger Maris hit 61 in 1961. Also in 1995, Albert Bell becomes the first to hit, and I think that's stayed up. I don't think anybody's done this, to have 50 homers and 52 doubles in a season. What a remarkable season that was. And that was 1995 when they missed, 44 games? Because of the strike the year before.
Wow, that's really incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you know what strikes me out about that?
What's that?
The regular season, back when Babe Ruth did that, was still going. At
this point of the season?
Yeah, so they must have started
They started
late.
They started in mid-April in those days.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're going to start in March in cities like Cleveland is totally absurd.
At least they're playing a division. I think they open with the Tigers next year. At least they're playing a division team. They didn't say, "Hey, let's put Seattle and Cleveland on March."
Well, the
28th.
other thing is the Babe was so big that he would stand up there at home plate and they would say that was global warming. And so,
yeah.
no, I mean that's first of all, I am not, a lot of people, if you listen to sports talk, and I do sports talk on radio, and you hear people complain that everybody's out to get Cleveland. The referees are out to get them. The commissioners of the leagues are out to get them. They're not out to get them. But they don't really care. They don't go out of their way to help. For example, you only have New York coming in once 3 games.
Right.
That doesn't help a franchise like this. That would be an automatic sellout, which needs all the help they can get. You have Cleveland. I know it's luck of the draw, but you had Cleveland finishing with Washington on the road with no DH, which, okay, that won't happen again. Every 15 years, I suppose it happens because everybody rotates around. But they don't go out of their way to help Cleveland.
No, they don't. And not just because I like the Red Sox, but Boston is another big draw for the Indians, right?
Yeah, they come in once also, one series.
And in 2016, the Indians opened with the Red Sox.
Yes, and I think it was last year or the year before the last series was here.
Right. And
well, that's not right.
No, it isn't right. And that takes away, at least 60,000 fans probably in a 3-game series.
No question about it. Because you're going to get your 12,000, 15,000 against Oakland or whoever, but you're not playing Boston. You're absolutely right.
And that was Big Papi's last year, Dave Ortiz last
16?
year. Right. And I remember talking to him in going in the Red Sox clubhouse that day. That was
name dropper.
No, but the day that it was snowed out that first game, and then remember they pushed it back a day.
Yeah.
And he said, "I could have told you 2 years ago that on this date it would be bad weather in Cleveland or in Boston."
Sure.
And so the point of his making was it made no sense to have Boston in Cleveland or Cleveland in Boston because you're only in one time.
This is easily checkable, and I probably should have done it before. Do the Red Sox still have their sellout streak going? Are there games
I don't think so, no.
There are tickets available?
Yeah.
Well, especially this year.
Yeah.
Because they weren't very good this year.
No.
But why is that? Cora was a great manager last year, but not so good this year.
Boy, that's a great question. And the pitching, the starting Sale wasn't very good this year. David Price wasn't good. They fired Dombrowski. How like that? The guy wins the World Series, and he doesn't even make it through the next season.
Well, Joe Madden got fired too with the Cubs.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a tough job.
It's a tough job. That's why job security here and more sports and less Levine.
Oh, yeah. We make so much more than those managers do.
But we have job security.
They don't even know we're here. They go, never mind. I won't tell you what they do. All right. So what did we see yesterday? Did we see who the Browns really are? I know you can't play that at that level 16 games a year, but what did we see?
Well, we definitely saw improvement. I don't think the Browns are going to score 40 points each week. That's unrealistic. Right. I also think we saw that the Ravens were not as good as the team that pulverized the horrible Miami Dolphins 59-10. But I don't think you should. That defense really deserves a lot of credit for bottling up, containing Lamar Jackson, not really letting him go crazy on him. And 2 plays in that game, Les, to me really were the most significant. And that was Browns are leading 17-10, and Baltimore is driving to tie it up, and Mark Ingram fumbles. Jermaine Whitehead forces this fumble. Browns get it back, go down and score. That was the one big play. And then after Baltimore makes it 24-18 when they went for that 2, then they were pretty pumped up. And then 16 seconds later,
82 yards.
Yeah.
When the Harbaugh that knows how to coach, the Baltimore Harbaugh who knows how to coach, unlike another one they might have, he went for the 2, and to me, and I'm always thinking clock situations and scoring and going for 1 and going for 2. It sort of struck me as, wait a minute, he's making a mistake here. And I only said that because, they don't do that very often with that much time to play.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense. It really does. It changes the tone. Now, whether they happen to make it, so that changed the tone at 6 points instead of, could have been It would have been 7 if they just kicked the extra point, which Tucker would have made. But I think more teams are going to be doing that. Maybe not in the course of this year, but I think in the off season they're going to take more of a look at analytics and maybe have more 2-point conversion tries.
Well, you could be right, and I think that's one reason why the league moved the extra point back to you're kicking now.
Right, they wanted you to kick
at the 15.
I mean, they wanted you to go for 2.
Right, and because that's not an automatic anymore, and especially the Browns helped the situation by jumping off sides.
Made it an easy play.
Right. So.
All right. So the national media has been up, notably Rex Ryan.
Right.
Did you like Rob Ryan when he was here? I loved the guy when he was here.
Yeah, he was.
I didn't want him to be my head coach, but I liked him.
Yeah, he was kind of fun to talk to every Thursday.
All right. Let's take a look at what the national media is talking about. This is after yesterday's. Rex Ryan says, "I can't believe they took Baltimore in their own backyard and took them to the woodshed." How about that? Little whipping. Here you go. This is Shannon Sharp from Fox Sports 1. I'm not surprised the Browns won the game, but I'm surprised how easy they made it look. Jim Rome, CBS Sports. Well. Look who's in first place now. America's team, your Cleveland Browns. Mike Greenberg of ESPN says, that was a franchise redefining performance by the Cleveland Browns. Skip Bayless says, Baker Mayfield underrated as hell from Fox Sports 1. So they're coming around.
Yeah.
It's easy to go after Baker. It's easy to go after the Browns. When you've got 16 games, you're not going to be perfect through 16.
Right.
You're always going to be right somewhere along the line.
See, now Rex Ryan, though, he didn't begrudgingly say, yeah, Baker Mayfield played a pretty good game.
No.
He more or less took a shot at the Ravens.
Took a shot at the Ravens for letting them get beat at home.
And then I heard him in the pregame because Baker said, he doesn't wear any colors now.
Right.
Which I thought was pretty clever of Baker. And then then Rex Ryan said, Baker Mayfield's lucky I'm not wearing purple and black today.
Well, I didn't see it, but they said that Rex Ryan was wearing orange.
Right.
Orange
brown
and blue.
Sport coat and orange and an orange tie.
Yeah.
So that was
good for him. Listen, guys at that level, you talked about job security here. Guys at that level have to stand out in certain ways.
Right.
And that's why they become gimmicky, and that's look at Lee Corso, what he did with the mascots and all that stuff. It made him stand out.
It did. And you know what? That's okay. I mean, Baker Mayfield, it didn't affect him. And I liked what he said yesterday, that Rex Ryan gets absolutely no credit for this win. Right.
2-1. Listen, apparently Baker needs that to pump himself up. He needs to have something in front of him, feel that he was disrespected, and he goes after that. And if that works, I don't know that it works, but if it does to him, so be it.
I think there is something to that, because even last year he had that motivation that people thought he should not have been picked number 1.
Right.
Coming into this year, he said, think about that. You're right. Now, he sets a rookie record for touchdown passes, 27. Well, no one's going to get on him for that. And then he's second in Rookie of the Year voting to Saquon Barkley.
Right,
so he
didn't get drafted.
He didn't have that motivation.
Exactly. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Jeff Schudel is with us, Bud Shaw, tomorrow night. And this portion of More Sports and Less Levine brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. No gimmicks, no deceiving blowout sales, no typical retail nonsense. Just 3 huge bare-bones stores and warehouses filled to the top with some of the same stuff found at the other stores, but one significant difference. At Northeast Factory Direct, these items are half price the other retailers, and even less than that. The bottom line is nobody's going to touch their everyday savings or their quality. 3 locations, West 140th Street in Cleveland, the old B&B Appliance, and Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, and Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia. Or check out everything that they have at northeastfactorydirect.com. 216-575-0403, Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. You can catch the excitement of live harness racing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as well as Saturday and now Sunday evenings. No live racing on October 1st. That's tomorrow. Monday through Wednesday post time is 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday is 6:40, but they open early every day for simulcast action all over the world. Top prize of the weekly Sunday contest this time around features Belmont with the top prize, $500 each week in cold hard cash. We'll come back in a moment. Jeff Schudel is with us. We'll talk to Mike Masada from Nature Stone when we get back. More Sports and Less Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of September and save up to half off. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at freddie-kitchens.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
Winning enough for a new Saturday morning ritual. That feels like a million. Play the newest instance from the Ohio Lottery.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
More sports and less Levine with Jeff Schudel, but now at this, we turn the program completely over to Mike Mussetta from Nature Stone. Mike, we got to get going. Enjoy the rest of the show.
I'll take it from here, Les. How are you guys doing tonight?
Very good. And I'll take over Nature Stone tomorrow morning at 8.
I'll take that switch with you whenever you want.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm just kidding. Doing well.
Tonight, listen, I always enjoy talking to you, but I got to admit something. I will enjoy talking to you more after a Cleveland Browns win over the Baltimore Ravens than I would a loss to the Los Angeles Rams. So I'm guessing you saw the game yesterday.
I watched a lot of it. I didn't watch the entire game. I had kids' sports pretty much all day yesterday between soccer and basketball, but we did get to watch a lot of it. And I'll tell you what, man, they played really well. And not only did they play really well, I mean they played really well in a spot where they needed to play really well.
Yeah, that game was only in doubt.
Jeff, that was a make or break kind of game right there for them.
Jeff Schudel is here. We were talking about it. They were in danger one time, we thought, and that was after the the 2-point extra point they went for, and then Chubb took it for 88 yards, and that was the key right there. Shut it down, and that game was over.
Yeah, and Chubb is a guy that he's extremely impressive as a running back, but he does a lot more than just run the ball. And if he blocks, he catches balls out of the backfield. If you watch Chubb, when they're winning games and they give the ball to him in the fourth quarter, he actually churns out more yards in the fourth quarter than he does throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah. Mike and Jeff,
he's turning out 3 or 4 yards a pop on carries when they know that he's going to run the football.
Yeah.
And that's big time running back stuff. I would take him over any back in the league right now because he did that last year, and he's doing it again this year. It's impressive.
Well, Jeff Schudel is here, and Jeff, to both of you, I'll throw this out. When he ran on the 88-yard running play, I know that the Baltimore stacked the line and had 100 guys on the line of scrimmage, but there was nobody near the guy. I mean, he hit the
right.
seam, and there was no way anybody was going to catch him.
Well, you know what? I wrote about that play for the paper for tomorrow, and I watched it. I mean this about 20 times to try to I watched each guy on the offensive line to see who he blocked.
Right.
And it was blocked perfectly.
Just like they draw it out.
You really. And even Greg Robinson on the left tackle, even though the play started off on the right, he took out one of the inside linebackers, Kenny Young, and Young kind of falls backwards like this. And according to Next Gen Stats, this is not a typo, Nick Chubb got up to 21.95 miles an hour.
Yeah, they showed it on one of the highlight shows. They compared him to one of the Olympic runners.
How about that? I mean,
and that's in football spikes and full gear and all that.
Right, and so when you said that nobody touched him, I mean, that's why those DBs, they probably didn't want to get in his way.
All right, so Mike, here you go this week. You recover from this. Now you go coast to coast because you're going to San Francisco. San Francisco 3-0. They had a bye yesterday. They haven't really played. Who have they played? They haven't played anybody.
You know what?
Really good. I don't think it's anybody good. But this is tough for Cleveland, Mike, because now you got to regroup and start all over again.
Yeah, and I think they're going to San Francisco too. They're on the West Coast, which is tough for any team coming from the East. And they not only had to play Frisco, but they've got 3 really difficult games in a row with San Francisco. Then I think they play Seattle, and then they got New England. So this is like their gauntlet, if you will, of games. I'll tell you, I don't know much about San Francisco other than the fact that they are 3-0 early in the season, and I agree with you. I don't believe the games they played are any good. But at the end of the day, this Ravens football team was playing at a real high level. Even the game that they lost, they still scored 28 points or something like that, and just didn't play well defensively against a very good opponent. If they can take what they did into San Francisco and they can win that game, I think you could very easily see them continue down that path through all 3 of those games and really come out of that 2-1 or possibly even 3-0. But yeah, it's not going to be easy, and the NFL never is. But yeah, their line play was excellent, and they did real well in a hostile environment on the road. So there's no reason why they can't do it again next week.
All right, quickly, in about a minute, try to sum up I think baseball is your favorite sport. Sum up what happened there. I had said that to Jeff that it's 162 games, which in the course of the season, everything comes to exactly where it should have been. The cream rises to the top, and vice versa. They just, they played it out for about 155 games, but the last 7 or 8 got them.
Hey, it was really the last 6. I mean, they went 1-6 in the last 2 series, and they were tied with Tampa Bay going into it. I look at it. I just tell you, they did not play well, guys. I mean, I don't think there's anything else to it. I mean, you could say that they had all these injuries and whatever else, but they were dealing with that all year. The pitching staff was intact when they played Chicago and the Nationals. So it wasn't like they were down any pitching or anything. In fact, I think they were getting guys back in their bullpen. So I just thought that all facets of the game, I don't think it was managed very well. And I don't think the team played very well. I love Francisco Lindor, and please don't take this as a big knock on him. But in the last 6 games of the season, he looked like he never even saw an off-speed pitch before.
Yeah, he didn't play well.
He was swinging at curveballs in the dirt and swinging from his knees sometimes, a changeup. I mean, it just happened overnight. It happened to all the players.
Yeah, but if he wants to sign a contract, if he wants to sign a 7-8 year contract today, I'll forgive what he did in the last week.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Best shortstop in baseball, I think, without question. Defensively, as good as you get. Offensively, switch hitter, great speed on the base pass. Does a lot of things really, really well. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but it was just kind of the microcosm of how the team played. In the last 6 games, he looked like he had never seen a changeup or a curveball in the major leagues before the last 6 games. Yeah, maybe they were tired. I don't know. Maybe they just expended so much energy to get to where they were at that once they got there, they didn't have anything left to take.
Plus,
I really don't know.
He missed the first month with the injury, so who knows how that played out.
I think what Mike just said, that they just expended so much energy to get to that point.
They got to the half-game lead over Minnesota, and then they fell back and never got there again.
Right, and you know, I mean, so they lost 2 out of 3 to the Twins, and then last time we were here, we talked about the Detroit Elixir,
right?
And they took care of the horrible Tigers.
Yeah, Mike, we're trying to get we're trying to get Detroit and Cleveland to play 162 games a year. It's only fair.
At least next year.
Yeah, yeah. Before they think they're good.
We'll go 161-1.
Yeah. Hey, we got to go, Mike. Remember, wow, it's Nature Stone. Why do I have to tell you to remember it?
Why what?
Yeah, why am I telling you to remember it? It's your company.
Everyone should remember it. It's
there
the
you
best
go.
flooring for garages and basements on the market today.
You got it. All right, Mike,
it's
thanks.
Nature Stone.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can explore your interests and find a program that puts you on the path to a brighter future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu to find out more information. Jeff Schudel and I return in a moment. More sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
All right, birthdays for today, which is the 30th of September. Robin Roberts, great pitcher. Johnny Padres. Is that the way he spelled it? I don't know.
I think it might have been May.
Hop to It, 1947. Is that okay?
That's a good one.
John Drew, Jeremy Giambi, and Carlos Guillen, all born on the 30th of September. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Let's take a look at our Facebook question of the day and find out what the responses are. And the question is, now that we're a quarter of the way through the season, what is your revised we're giving revised predictions now for the Browns record. Penny says if they can control their middle school tempers and keep the penalties at a minimum, they could do well. Maybe 7 wins. What?
Penny,
what?
I hope that
maybe 7 more wins.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with that. Dennis says from 9 to 7 to 10-6, division champs. Dave says still see 10-6 a possibility. People aren't sold by this win here. Glenn says they got a real chance of going 10-6. Rick says 10-6. Temper the Ravens win with the Tennessee game. We should have won. Schedule gets easier toward the end, but next few weeks will be tough. Sean says they need to beat 4-4 after 8 games, then they can make a run at 10 wins with the remaining schedule. I would assume people's revised schedule would have said, oh, that's going to be 14-2.
I think they're used to Cleveland failure.
Yeah, well, get used to it. Get used to it. At least it's fun. It gives us something to look forward to 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
We're not forced to be watching it.
Yes.
They're not saying, okay, you've got your prison meal here, now you're going to lock you up and you have to watch the Browns play.
This next game will if they beat the 49ers, you know San Francisco's going to be hopping.
Sure.
Especially now they've had 2 weeks. They'll have had 2 weeks to prepare for the Browns. So
I didn't think they were. They beat Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh wasn't very good at that point without Roethlisberger, and they weren't very good either.
Right. So, but they have Garoppolo and they have Nick Bosa. So,
one on each side.
Right. Well, yeah, right. And so, so we'll see. I mean,
who are you picking in this game tonight? Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
Well, I picked the Bengals, but I wouldn't go to Prescott Downs and bet on that.
Well, you got an extra half hour to drive now. You can get to Prescott easily.
Right, I could get there, but I'm not sure I'd plunk $100 down. I'm not that confident because the game's at Pittsburgh, I think, and they always find a way to beat the Bengals.
Yeah, but the last decade they've had Roethlisberger.
Right.
It's a whole new world. They're going to be just like the rest of us teams that have been searching for a quarterback for a couple of decades.
Yeah, well, that's about time, right?
Absolutely.
And
enjoy your search. I'll help you. Give me a call. I'll help you. Give you what you need to look for.
Right. So we'll see. I think even though they're both 0-3, because of that rivalry, I think it'll be a fun game to watch.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Jeff Schudel is with us. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 huge bare-bone warehouses. That means they're going to save money. They pass all the savings on to you. They've got the same types of furniture for you. The one difference is the rent is about 1/10 what the big box stores pay, and they get to pass that savings on to you. The bottom line is nobody is going to touch their everyday savings or their quality. Well, Sokolowski's University Inn. You talk about a gamble. Bernie's daughter got married over the weekend outside. They had it scheduled outside at the end of September. It came out perfect, 80 degrees.
Wow, good.
You wouldn't have figured that was going to happen.
No,
right?
Good for them.
I know what would happen if it was me. Snowstorm, floods, locusts, all that stuff.
You know what, those September and October are my favorite months.
It's the greatest. The only thing is, November and December are coming soon.
Right.
Sokolowski's University Inn, Mike and Bernie took over the family business so many years ago, and they've taken it on. The grandparents started it all in 1923. And Sokolowski's University Inn, the winner of the James Beard Foundation Award. Only 4 in the country get it each and every year, and they won that 3 or 4 years ago. And to best of my knowledge, the only restaurant in the city of Cleveland that has won the James Beard Foundation Award. And the oldest family-owned and operated restaurant in all of Northeast Ohio. We'll come back in a moment with Jeff Schudel. More sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of September and save up to half off. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
Jeff, it's time for a How Come Quickie. Baseball, how come if they moved the bases from 90 feet to 91, there wouldn't be as many bang-bang plays? Originally credited to John Lowenstein.
Well, you're probably right? There'll be more.
This date in Les Levine history. In his political science class in 1968 at Ohio State, Les asked, how come we know there is a secret service? It's believed to be the first How Come Quickie in history.
I like that. That's a good one.
You know, you want to be historically factual. I didn't want to make that up. I had to go back into my own records to realize that I invented How Come Quickies in 1968 or whatever year that was.
Wow, that's a long-running show.
All right, so listen, Don in Berea writes, you know, we were talking about Albert Bell, 50 homers and 52 doubles. And I said, and that was the strike-shortened season. And he said the strike only cost them 18 games that season due to the strike. Their record was 144, so they didn't have 162 games.
Still,
but
that's
so
a
what?
lot of games.
That's 100.
That's more than a tenth of the season.
I mean, if he played out the 18 games, how many home runs do you think he would have hit in the next 18 games?
Okay, let's see. He figured out one every 3 games.
Okay.
Right, roughly.
All right, so that's 6.
So he would probably have.
So he'd have 56 homers.
Right.
All right, and another 7 or 8 doubles.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't stop him from doing anything. It's remarkable one way or the other.
Yeah, so you have 50 home runs in 144 games.
Right.
So basically one every 3 games. So you missed 18 games, so you have 54 home runs.
They told me there would be no math when I do this show.
All right.
So when we have math questions, we'll bring you in. Next segment, we'll do quickies, maybe. Mr. Gullible is touching that fine edge. It's like fine wine and lousy wine, you know?
Yeah,
it's fine wine, but you have to throw it out sometimes.
I'll tell you, I think I mentioned I had the honor of meeting Mr. Gullible that night at the Rocky Colavito event.
Oh, you met him?
Yeah. And what do you think?
He just looks like a normal guy.
Yeah, he does, and he recognized me from being on with you. Oh,
nice.
And I got to shake Mr. Gullible's hand. But of course, he mentioned you. I think I called you.
That's the
to
highlight.
Tell you about that.
That's the highlight of your sporting career. Have you interviewed some guy that you were awestruck with and maybe had trouble even asking the question?
Well, I will confess that very early in my career, when I went in the Boston Celtics locker room, and there was Dave Cowens, and I think Havlicek was in that locker room. Definitely Cowens. I'll have to say that. And that
did they say, "What are you doing here, kid"? Or?
Yeah, no, they were really good about it. But I have to say that I was a little intimidated by that group. Now, later on, I met Julius Erving, shook his hand and lost mine.
His hand was huge.
His hand was amazing. No, I mean, when he would do those amazing dunks where he'd almost take off at the midcourt line. I mean, he was.
Yeah, he didn't have that far to go like you and I would.
Right, and so that was cool. But to confess, yes, I was pretty awestruck.
Well, you were.
I
mean, part of it is because you were a Boston fan anyway, right?
No, I'm not really. I don't think that was it. But that team was so good. That Celtics team was so good, and to walk in there in that locker room and there he was.
Pretty cool.
But I say that was 40 years ago or whatever it was. So
let's go the other way. Any Cleveland Cavalier, Indian, Brown that, not that you were awed by, but you really respected or really treated differently or asked different questions that you might have asked otherwise?
I'm not sure about that, but I could really go on and on about that list. And right up there
well,
now.
You're from here, right?
Right. I mean, right. And right up there would be Terry Francona as someone I respect. And back in the early days of the Browns, I'm leaving a lot of guys out, but Brian Sipe was certainly that way. I like the guys who are really good, but don't have to tell you they're really good.
Yeah, Brian Sipe was that guy.
Brian Sipe was that guy. Terry Francona was that guy.
Ozzie Newsome was that guy.
Ozzie Newsome was definitely that guy. And Cavaliers-wise, Austin Carr was that guy. And
people always ask about Austin Carr. They say, I met Austin Carr. I can't believe he's as nice in person as he is on the air or making speeches or whatever. No, he is. That's him.
He really is.
That's him.
And now, when you meet guys like that, and then like Shaq when he played here briefly, he's this big smiley guy who does like 1,000 commercials every night, right?
Right.
That guy is Mr. Endorsement. He was not that way. And
I'll tell you what, he was the biggest person I've ever seen. I stood in front of him, and it looked like he would get big while you're talking to him, and all of a sudden his shoulders would get bigger. And
right, because he wasn't just tall.
No, he was everything.
Yeah, he was.
My son had always says if a UFO came up to him and came up to my son and said, "Take me to your finest product or your best example of what you have down here," he would have taken Shaq.
Yeah, well, that would have scared the aliens back to their planet, right? I mean, so those are some of the guys that really impressed me.
Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. Catch the excitement of harness racing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as well as Saturday and Sunday. Monday through Wednesday, post time 6 p.m., 6:40 for the weekends on Saturday and Sunday. And special promotions, free admission, and free parking every day. That's at Northfield Park. Jeff and I come back in a moment. We'll take a look at some How Come Quickies, including one or two from Mr. Gullible, his best friend. More sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of September.
Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Well, Jeff Schudel is with us. Bud Shaw tomorrow night. Wednesday, it'll be the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, on More Sports and Les Levine. We talked about things that were going to happen. We talked about Kareem Hunt coming back in 4 weeks, or after 4 weeks. 586 yards, 13.5 average yard per reception, 5 touchdowns. His longest was 71. How do you think he was a question mark last year? How do you think he's going to come in this year?
Well,
in shape, I hope.
I would really be surprised and disappointed if he isn't in shape. You would think that after missing a quarter of the season, not being paid, and letting your team down, that you would want to show them you're ready to go.
How do these players treat guys like that when they come back? Do they wait till they prove themselves, or do they welcome them back immediately no matter what happens?
I think maybe it depends on the player. I think Callaway, if he was truly remorseful for whatever got him suspended, that they would accept him back openly.
Well, now they need him. If
you
got a situation where you've got protocol on the
Jarvis Landry.
On Jarvis Landry, you need Antonio Callaway.
Right, and so and he and Baker Mayfield worked pretty well together last year. So I would imagine that to pick up pretty quickly.
How about Hollywood Higgins?
You know, he missed, now this is 3 straight games he's missed with that knee injury. And it didn't look good to me last week, even though he was listed questionable. He practiced limited on Wednesday, but did not practice Thursday or Friday. And they're very sketchy on those injury details.
On what they announce?
Right, and every team is. But so I can't really predict when he'll be back.
All right, you ready for How Come Quickies?
Yes, I am.
You're wondering what the stand, don't you?
I understand, but I'm just a guest, so go for it.
Okay, well, apparently Mr. Gullible is just a guest also. How come creation is my only hope for a smoking hot body? If it was more sports than Jeff Schudel, would you have run with this?
I'm not sure about that one. I might have gone to number 2.
Number 2 is, well, this isn't very good either. How come when my wife asked me how I wanted to celebrate our anniversary, I said, with a moment of silence. But John Patrick has come to save the day. This is the essence of a How Come Quickie. It's quick, starts with how come.
All right.
It's funny, and unlike Bud Shaw, who doesn't like puns, I love puns.
But not pundits.
They're not pundits, though.
Right.
Very good. All right, so John says, how come when I won $1,000 and donated a quarter of it to charity, I still had $999.75 left? See, he donated a quarter to charity.
Right. That's pretty good.
That's the essence of a quickie.
Yes.
I'm thinking Bud Shaw's never given a 10, but I'm going to keep this for him tomorrow and see if maybe he's going to would give that, in retrospect, a 10.
I think I think that could be a 10.
Could be a 10.
Think about that one for a while.
Because it has all the elements. Okay, tell me something in a minute about the Cleveland Browns that we're going to give me something we're going to like to hear, and then something we're not going to like to hear.
I would like to hear. I think we're going to see Myles Garrett come back to being the player he was in those first couple of games, because he was pretty quiet statistically anyway yesterday.
Right.
So I think when he's got Nick Bosa on that other side, he's going to show up.
Not only statistically, I had to look for him on a couple of occasions saying, what is he in the locker room? Is he injured? Because I didn't see number 95 doing much.
No, and I don't know if that's because he got fined $42,000 for those 2 roughing the passer penalties.
Could be.
In the Jets game, and he's been a little quiet, gun shy since then.
Good point.
And as far as the other way, I want to see Greg Robinson up against Bosa protect like he did yesterday.
Well, what do they do? Do they double team it? Do they drop guys off in protection?
He did in the first 3 games.
You know what I didn't see? The first 3 games I saw him throwing off his back foot. I didn't see that yesterday.
Well, I agree. And when I say he got in that rhythm, a lot of times you can almost look at the quarterback without even seeing where the ball goes. And like you said, if he steps into that pass, it has a much better chance.
When he steps into that pass, he throws the ball as hard, velocity-wise, almost as hard as anybody.
Right, and it's on that rope.
Yeah.
So if he does that again, it's going to be a real fun.
And by the way, do you agree with me that the interception was not his fault?
Yes, yeah. Jarvis Landry just put on the brakes.
He eased up on it.
He did. It was like yeah, he did. He got as Sam Ratigliano would say, he heard a cat sipping milk at 50 yards. So I think that's what happened on that one.
That'll do it to us. Jeff Schudel did a great job as always. We'll see you tomorrow night with Bud Shaw. We'll see if he gives John Patrick a 10. It's going to be a 9 something.